My name is Phil Jackman, and welcome to this week's In Conversation, in which I talk to people in the Northeast dynamic and exciting cybersecurity industry. Brought to you by Cyber North, Dynamo Northeast Cybersecurity Cluster. We're supported by Accenture and the Innovation Super Network. We're part of UK Cyber Cluster Collaboration, UKC3, recognised by DCMS and the National Cybersecurity Centre as representing the region. Today, I'm joined by Jennifer Kilmartin, Vice President of Information Security and Compliance at Partnerize. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Hiya, I'm good, thank you.
Good. So, can we start with you? Tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Partnerize.
Yep. So, as you just mentioned, I'm Vice President of Information Security and Compliance at Partnerize. I've been with the company for about just under 4 years now, and I had to think back and work this one out. I've worked in IT and information security for just under 18 years. As I left university and started working in IT, and then I moved into security 2 years later. So I've been in security for just under 16 years now. At Partnerize, I'm responsible for all aspects of security across the business. That includes security due diligence, which came in quite handy when Partnerize acquired Pepperjam and Brand Verity during the global pandemic. So we look after security for our kind of group of organisations.
Excellent. So just before I get into the formal questions, I'm going to ask you, how were you affected by Log4j in the run-up to Christmas? Were you or were you not?
We were extremely busy in the run-up to Christmas, but I think that just was the end of an extremely busy year for us. As I mentioned before, we acquired 2 businesses during the global pandemic, so that's kept us extremely busy. Log4j brought, I would say, significant audit work for us. So what we did was we audited all of our applications, and we looked at it in 3 different areas. So we looked at our tech platform, we looked at our internal IT applications, and then we looked at our suppliers. And we looked to see if we were vulnerable. And obviously there was a lot of kind of manual work. And then obviously now we're just continuing to review guidance and respond appropriately. Just brought a little bit of extra work at the end of the year.
Well, they're certainly coming thick and fast now, aren't they? And I think what you've just described highlights the more a significant chunk of what cybersecurity is about, and that's the defensive nature of checking and auditing and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what does Partnerize do? How does cybersecurity fit in with their business?
So we are a tech company. We were founded in Newcastle, and we've been operating for about 11 years now, maybe 12, I think. We provide a SaaS platform to the affiliate market and our partners. So we are a technology company.
Excellent.
So I would say that security fits in through all aspects of our business. So my security team, is very much part of the culture at Partnerize. We work with all of our departments. We're very closely with our legal, tech development teams, and we try to ensure that security is by design. So we do try to achieve that. And we are advisors to our senior leadership team. So we'll work with the individual teams and then act as advisors to them to assess any kind of risk or anything to the business.
So our viewers might not be familiar with the business model that you have, but are there any specific cybersecurity threats or issues relating to the sector in which you operate?
I think technology businesses are generally speaking, have more considerations to bear when it comes to security measures. Just generally, I think tech businesses could be seen as more vulnerable from a security perspective. I think over a traditional kind of bricks and mortar business. I believe we're probably facing the same security issues that most organisations are facing. I've worked in a number of sectors. So I've worked in the finance, legal, I've worked for government, and now tech. I don't think that any of the things that we're facing now are anything I haven't faced in previous organisations. Some of them may just be a little bit higher risk for us or a lower risk, depending on the type of business model. I think we're definitely working on protecting our data, protecting our key assets, any risk of data loss, phishing and ransomware, vulnerability management is kind of key. But I think that's probably the same for most people.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been working with me on with me and Cyber North through the skills group. Yeah, how are you finding being able to recruit people these days?
Phil, I think you know the answer to this already.
It's a leading question.
I'm struggling at the moment. I'm finding recruitment really hard, but I know that I'm not on my own. I know that a lot of my friends that I talk to who work in other sectors but work in security are also struggling. And I think it's down to three key areas, really. One, there is a huge cyber skills shortage, and this is something that we've talked about in great detail. I don't think that security is seen as kind of one of the kind of key professions like doctors, lawyers, accountants, which we've kind of talked about. I think that most people enter security or cybersecurity as kind of an offshoot from IT. It's never really, or it hasn't been seen that I've seen as its own individual profession. More so now, but definitely when I was at university, it wasn't seen. And I just don't think that we're seeing candidates coming through from like education or just entering the workforce with the appropriate skills for industry. And I know that obviously that is something that we are trying to work on with the Cyber North Skills Group. And it is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I really want to see people kind of grow into their roles in security, and I'm a firm believer in organisations growing their own talent. So making sure that there are positions, entry-level positions available for people to start their careers in security. I also think that the kind of working from home is presented greater complexity, especially around kind of contract and compensation negotiations. As those kind of physical regions are no longer a sole consideration, really. And I suppose if I was just talking about kind of the northeast and the UK, I would specifically talk about the north-south divide. And definitely there was always seen as this little pocket in the north. But now we're kind of losing those great skills that we once had to organisations further south. And some people even further than that globally. Now you can work from home, you can work for anyone. So I definitely think that's affected recruitment. And then also, I think the market is hyper competitive because of the skill shortage, as I mentioned right at the beginning. So many organisations are having to kind of proactively recruit talent at the moment to fill those roles that they had. And obviously, due to shortages, I think people are really struggling with that. And also employee satisfaction, I think, comes into it as well to make sure that we are retaining the talent that we do have. And so, yeah, kind of three key areas, I think, that are causing that.
But having the new national cyber strategy, it's all over that, and the government is well aware that we need to address this. And I think some of the work that we're doing is exciting and could hopefully will address some of that. But you talked to me about some interesting ways of getting people interested in cybersecurity. Can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. Any opportunity I get, I talk about kind of what we do and the great, really interesting stuff. I think and we've talked about this in the past, Phil, there's a lot of ideas that security is really sexy industry to work in, and sometimes it isn't. It's the kind of investigations, it's the admin, it's the audit work, it's sometimes quite repetitive. But we've done some work with, when we could, before COVID, with work experience. So when candidates have come in from schools or colleges, we've organised games and played kind of security related games with the students, which has kind of really generated more interest in security as a kind of career. As I mentioned before, I don't think it's seen as a kind of profession, and it's really opened some of the candidates or students' eyes to working in security, and it can be quite fun. I do think that we struggle a little bit when students come in for work experience because there's only so much you can do with them around security. Obviously, we couldn't tell them about some of the work that we're carrying out. So we try and make it as high level as possible. So we do play games. We've attended a lot of open days at technology colleges around the northeast to kind of raise awareness of what we do as a business and what we do as a team. So that's kind of generated a little bit more interest in security. And then we've done events with recruitment agents. So specifically, some of the work that I do with ISACA, we often invite recruitment agents. But I feel like that's a little bit too late in the game. I think we need to start really looking at how we can generate more interest in kind of schools, colleges, and get those candidates through into industry. So definitely something that I'll be looking at in 2022 to see if there's any other exciting things that we can do to kind of get people interested.
Yeah, me too. But watch out for the work with the new cybersecurity council. I
Yes.
think they're trying to professionalise the industry, and so that's something to look out for. But anyway, how did you manage? When did you decide that cybersecurity was for you?
Oh, I think I was about 19 or 20, Phil. So quite a long time ago now. I was in my second year at university, so I did a degree in business computing at Sunderland University, and in my second year, I did security engineering. And I remember being really fascinated by the lectures, way more than I'd been fascinated by some of maybe the other aspects of my degree. Some of them I found a little bit more of a chore to kind of engage with. I suppose the kind of coursework I just found harder to do, or there wasn't that interest. But with security, I found that it just kind of came naturally, and it was where my mind kind of naturally gravitated to. So some of the other aspects of my degree, I still thought about the security aspects. And I think that's when I really started to kind of have an interest in it. And that's when I decided that it was something I wanted to do. When I left university, which was 2014, I struggled to find a role in security in the Northeast. So I actually took a role in IT, and then within 2 years, I got a role in security within that business. And then kind of the rest is history. I've worked in security ever since.
But but you've had quite a stellar career. You've achieved a very senior role in an organisation. So my premise is that most people who work in cyber don't work in cybersecurity companies, and I think you're testimony to that. How did you get from that entry level to where you are now?
So I think you're 100% right, and especially in the Northeast, Phil, there aren't that many security companies that you could go, like true security companies that you could go and work for. And there are organisations like Sapphire and organisations like that are kind of true security companies. But most of the roles, I believe, in the Northeast are in-house. And that's where I've kind of found it most interesting. I love to kind of learn about the business, the sector, the kind of work that the organisations do. So all of my roles have been in-house. So I started my career at Northern Rock, which was Northern Rock at the time, and then I moved on to Newcastle Building Society. So again, in the finance sector. I then worked for Northumbria Police, so very different for me. I was private sector straight from university, and then I went into the public sector, which I found a little bit more difficult. Do definitely believe that my career was kind of in the private sector, and then I went to work for a law firm, which was a total change as well, and then now in tech. But I believe that one of the kind of key things that some of my roles and that's filtered through is I've really been fascinated by greenfield sites. So what organisations that I would kind of say previously had no security team. So they've kind of built their security team, or they haven't had an extensive security control set, and they've wanted to build that security control set. So that's really where I think my passion lies. And I think because that's where my passion lies, that's kind of forged my later part of my career.
Excellent. Well, that's really good. But you're also involved in ISACA, yeah? Tell us a bit about that and why people should get involved.
So I'm currently president of the ISACA Northern England chapter board, and I've held a board position now for about 8 years. I took my CISM qualification, which is a certification that we offer. About 9 years ago, I think, and that was kind of where my interest in ISACA started. ISACA is a great community. Obviously, we offer a wide number of certifications which really help you kind of enter the job market or progress to that next level. And I do definitely have seen a big shift in job descriptions requesting some of the certifications that we offer. So I do think it's definitely something, if you want to progress your career, it's something you should definitely get involved with. ISACA is global. We've got well over 150,000 members worldwide now, and it definitely follows your career as well. So we've got certifications for kind of entry level right up to people who are kind of moving on to the next level of their career and senior leadership. It's an organisation that could definitely follow you through your career. So regardless of what experience you have or where you are on that career ladder, it's definitely something to get involved with. So I mentioned that I'm a president of the Northern England chapter. So ISACA is broken down into, I think, more than 220-ish regional chapters over 90 countries. So if you were working in the UK and then moved somewhere else, ISACA would follow you there as well. So it's definitely something that people can kind of get involved with and grow. We offer loads of educational events as well. So the board organises on a monthly basis at the moment virtual events, but prior to COVID, and hopefully when COVID's behind us, we can go back to face-to-face. And we've had people from different walks of life, different organisations at different levels in their career come and present to our members. So it definitely offers kind of a broad variety of interest for our member base as well.
Excellent. I think the ISACA and the other groups have a big role to play, I think, in some of the skills issues that we've talked about. Okay, my final question to you, though, it's a typical, it's a tradition at this time of year to have resolutions. Do you have a resolution in terms of cybersecurity for this year?
Well, I'm not really one for resolutions, but I have set myself a few goals this year, both professionally and personally. And when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about what do I actually want to do? What would I be happy with if in December of 2022 I looked back on this year, and the kind of key theme that followed through the goals was just improvement. So what I'm going to do is just consistently work on improving security within the organisation that I work for, and also assist in my field. So with ISACA and anyone else who wants to improve their career or needs assistance, if there's anything I can help with, then I just want to make sure that we kind of improve for 2022.
Well, that's great, Jennifer. Look, thanks very much for that, Jennifer. I'd also like to thank Robert Campbell, who's helped me to set up these in conversations in the background. Look out for the next in our series. If you're interested in taking part or know someone who would, please get in touch. Thanks once again, Jennifer.
Thanks very much.
That was In Conversation with Phil Jackman, lead for Cyber North. Audio and video production was by me, Robert Campbell. This was a Team Funds production for Dynamo Northeast.